Hey everybody, I'm Wajahat Ali for South by Southwest Studio, and we are here backstage literally right before the premiere of Brené Brown's new HBO Max 5-part series, Atlas of the Heart. Brené,
hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here literally right before you premiere this 5-part documentary series, which is going to be awesome. Don't worry, it's going to be great. Okay, before we talk about it, I have to ask this question. I was on a podcast with a rabbi, Rabbi Shira, who said, and I quote, "I'm going to Brené Brown the shit out of this situation," end quote. So how does it feel to be made into a verb in 2022?
Feels dangerous. It feels questionable.
You know, we were talking about vulnerability, we were talking about mental health, we're talking about mental health in our religious communities.
Yeah.
And she says, wait, I gotta Brené Brown the shit out of this. And then we did. And so the fact that you are now a verb associated with vulnerability, you know what, I went to Spider-Man. I thought, with great power comes great responsibility. This must be a huge weight on the shoulders of one person.
I mean, it wasn't until just now, but I mean...
No, I just made it very nice.
No,
you were doing fine until I just laid this on you.
No, I'm not sure about being a verb. What do you think it meant? Do you know what it meant?
It meant that I have to lean in and really talk about my emotions and go to a space that I'm uncomfortable going, talking about vulnerability, talking about mental health, and being open. That's what I thought.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, I believe it. I think that's just like human being the shit out of something. Yeah. I don't think it's me.
I like that. I like it. It's nice. I like your self-effacement. But she said Brené Brown. The fact that it's connected with something positive that now we're in. Look, I'm of the age that my generation didn't even talk about self-care. Like this was foreign.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then I had a friend who saw your TED Talk, that infamous TED Talk now, and said, "Oh, I can actually access my feelings. This is okay." It seems that you've given a generation permission to access those emotions that society oftentimes said, you know, you have to be a Spartan and just be stoic. Yeah. Be a man.
Yeah, I think the thing is that whether we like it or not, we're emotional beings. I think we want to believe that we're thinking beings who every now and then on occasion are afflicted with some emotion, but the truth is we're emotional beings. So I think what I'm doing myself and what the research says is
20 years of research.
Yeah, we got to embrace that emotional part of being a social species. I mean, we're neurobiologically hardwired to be in connection with each other, and in the absence of connection, there's always suffering. And so I guess if Brené Browning something is trying to facilitate connection with other people by keeping it real and letting ourselves be seen, I'll take it.
It's a win. It's a win. Trust me. Yeah. Trust me. If that's the verb you're associated with, it's a win.
It's a win.
Someone else said this. 2 people have said this in the last 2 days at South by Southwest, right? I'm not going to put more on you, but I'm going to put some more on you right now.
Here comes.
They said Brené Brown is my personal guru.
No. Yeah.
Okay. So when you hear that, it's like, ugh.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have my shit together enough to be a guru, really. Like, and I don't want a guru, I don't want to be a guru. I'm a researcher and a storyteller, and I make a ton of mistakes, and I don't want that for anybody. In fact, I think the deeper you get into my work, the more you'll understand that's probably not a good thing to have.
Right.
You know, like, be your own guru.
But you help people connect with that. And I think the fact that you say openly, I don't have my shit together.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm figuring this stuff out. I got 20 years of research. I'm sharing it with you.
Yeah.
But you're doing this now with Atlas of the Heart. You got this 5-part series.
Yeah.
You got a whole crowd out there super excited. You got a whole bunch of Brené Brown fans out there. And they're very envious of me right now. You have this 5-part series where you're talking about how we can connect with our emotions, right? And you just start off with this uplifting emotion. You're like, I'm going to start with anguish. You know, why'd you decide, I'm going to start with anguish of all emotions?
Well, actually, anguish is kind of in the middle of the book, but I think it's a really important emotion because actually even social scientists steer clear of it. I think the only folks who've really captured it well are the poets and musicians and artists. But look, unfortunately, in our lives, we'll know anguish. And if we don't understand what it is and how it works, we're going to feel very, very alone when it happens. And that's the last thing we need when we're wrestling with this deep feeling of grief and powerlessness. And it's an overwhelming feeling. So I think we just have to, you know, there's 87 emotions I cover in Atlas of the Heart. And Anguish is one, but it's a big one that we just don't talk about.
There's a lot to be anguished about. There's the war in Ukraine. Yeah. There's climate change. There's what's happening in Texas right now with women's rights. In fact, all across the country.
Anti-trans.
Anti-trans, LGBTQ. I can go on. It's like a horror. It's like a laundry list of horrors.
There's a lot of bad shit.
And you in your podcast recently just openly admitted that says I'm having trouble finding joy right now.
Yeah.
And when someone might hear that, like if Brené Brown is having trouble finding joy, oh my gosh, like where can I find joy? And I appreciate the fact you were so vulnerable in your podcast. The fact that people do see as a guru that you reject that title, but you're saying, look, I'm dealing with a lot of shit right now that you all are dealing with that's weighing on me. And right now, how are you doing when it comes to trying to find joy in a situation which might seem so just terrible all across the board?
I think I'm doing a couple of things. I think the first thing I'm doing is taking action. Reaching out, calling legislators, calling people who represent me or claim to represent me. I just worked with Together Rising. We raised over $1 million, and it's already on the ground in the Ukraine with people doing organizing there.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm taking action, which is a big part of compassion. Yeah. I think, and we don't know that. It's one of the emotions we talk about in Atlas, but compassion always has action. And then I think what I'm doing is bringing in the aperture of my life. I'm taking action, I'm doing the activism I think is important, and I'm looking into the eyes of the people I love. I'm spending time with my kids, I'm trying to understand, trying to interrogate where I have responsibility for some of the stuff that's happening and how I can change that. And I'm just taking it like getting out of bed one day at a time. And I think if you're not experiencing some level of, I don't know, what's the word for it?
Languishing.
Languishing, yeah. Adam Grant's word, languishing. You're not paying attention.
Well, we're in a pandemic right now.
Yeah, we are.
And 6 million people have died, and we're about to reach the 1 million mark in America.
Yeah.
And it's a tough time for many folks. And you actually did Atlas of the Heart in front of a live audience.
I did.
It's not just you, talking to the camera. You're actually implementing this with people.
Yeah.
And so what was the transfer? Did you see that transformation where people were, like, you went through the process and it like unlocked something? You saw it.
Yeah, I think this is the great part. I mean, the other thing, I hate guru, I also hate self-help, because nowhere in 20 plus years of research, hundreds of thousands of pieces of data, do I think that we should be helping ourselves. We need to do this in community. Right. So I think what I witnessed in that show was us unlocking each other. Like, I think it was, I learned from the audience, they learned from me, they learned from each other. I mean, I think we have to approach everything as student and teacher. Yeah. And so I am 100% sure that I learned more from them than I taught them, for sure.
I'm gonna let you go. You have a premiere to attend, and I wanna give a quick teaser, right, to this 5-part series, because people are gonna watch the series. Yeah. But for people watching right now, people who feel anguish, people who feel pain, what's one thing that they can do at home right now where they can find some connection with their emotions and connection with others? One activity or exercise that can help them on the journey.
Reach out to someone and talk about how you're feeling. And make a commitment to just one person in your life that we're gonna keep shit real. I'm gonna be able to call you and say, Waj, I'm struggling today. How are you? Check in with people. I mean, it's a small thing, but actually we're not doing it. And so I think that's the big thing.
I'm gonna cheat and ask one last one, because I'm never gonna get you again. What's giving you joy right now at this moment?
I think always my family, my 2 kids and my husband Steve, and Steve's here tonight, and I think that's always joy. That just makes me smile, that makes me happy. But also, I'm the person in this series that's doing some of the teaching, and it's my research, but the hundreds of people that came together to make this beautiful and accessible and real, I can't believe how lucky I am to have that. Like, oh my God.
It's an amazing gift and an amazing responsibility. You've carried it wonderfully. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Enjoy this premiere. Everybody watch Atlas of the Hearts, premiering on HBO Max, a 5-part series. We just Brené Brown the shit out of this interview. And I'm Wajahat Ali, and I'll talk to you later at South by Southwest.